Hey guys, Colin Fisher. I am a project manager estimator here at Carlson Projects. I'm also the resident guardsman, so I guess that's what we're going to talk about today. I just got back from being over in Bavaria in Germany. We were doing a variety of projects for the joint multinational training center over in Hohenfels, Germany. But one of the main missions that we had was to rebuild a breezeway. It doesn't seem like much of a project, and in a sense, when we got there, we kind of looked at it as it was kind of a joke. And the only reason we say that is the plan that they had for us wasn't really drawn up well, and it was kind of one of those situations where you show up, you look at something, and you know it's just not going to work. They have a lot of these small towns kind of scattered around this training base that they built specifically for infantry training, convoy operations, things like that. So the United States Army, the United States Marine Corps are all training infantry units from other countries. So while we were there, there was a variety of different countries training. Back to the breezeway that we were supposed to build. I'm going to preface this all by saying that I'm a medic in my unit. My unit's an engineering unit. I've been in construction for almost 20 years off and on now. So we show up in this little town, we pull up and we see the job that we're looking at. It's a small breezeway, probably about 11 feet wide by 33 feet long. And they've got little foosball table in there and seating and little bar and all kinds of stuff. And when they have their lunch break from their training operations that they help run out there, they grab their MRE, they go and they sit in this little breezeway. And this breezeway was in just completely terrible condition. It was built poorly. The roof was collapsing. And the fact that they allowed people to sit inside there and eat was kind of sketchy to me. And so I need to make sure that whatever we do over there is going to stand and it's going to last. And I feel comfortable being part of that mission. So I told my leadership on that job site that it just wasn't going to work. And he knew pretty much immediately that it wasn't going to work either. We basically formulated a plan to go in and talk to some of the officers about how this is going to work, how it needs to happen. And essentially, we redesigned the entire project, took it and presented it. So originally the plans didn't call for any kind of roof trusses. The walls, they wanted 2 exterior walls, no load-bearing wall in the center, and they wanted to roof it using tile. So tile is pretty heavy. So if you're not going to use any kind of load-bearing wall, any kind of truss, it's just not going to hold. So we decided we were going to draw up a specific type of truss that we were going to be able to use. We'd formulate out based on weight how many of those trusses we were going to need to build, and just how we were going to go with that. So we gather all this information, we put it all together, we show up on the job site and we start the demo. It would have been easy to just tear it all down and just go in and sledgehammers and just bust it all out, but they really like to save all the materials. We had to take it apart piece by piece by piece by piece. We stacked everything aside, they hauled it off to where they wanted it, and it gave us a nice clean slate. We were essentially kind of working on scraps to do this whole project. So they give us this amount of material and we make it work. So we start on the exterior rear wall, 33 foot 6 inches wide. We get the rear wall built, we start working on the front walls, and then they come back and they say, hey, we want 4 windows in that rear wall. Well, originally it was 2 windows and a door, so now we gotta go back, tear a wall apart, rebuild it. It took us I'd say about an hour to tear the whole wall apart, rebuild it with 4 windows versus 2. We get all that stuff together, all the walls are built within probably a day and a half. We got those trusses up in about a day and a half. We laid our underlayment the next day, and we started setting our tile roof the day after that. While we're setting the tile roof, we were also sheeting the exterior of the building, and I was setting windows. Now, they don't have like windows, you know, it's not like a really nice thing. It's like some custom made wooden thing that some guy just randomly made and was gonna put plexiglass in. So each one is built differently and has a different size. So each individual hole, when we were building the, you know, basically setting up the framing for those rear windows, every single one is a different size. And so it made it a little bit tricky, but it was one of those things where you adapt and overcome. I mean, that's kind of construction in a whole, is you have a plan, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you have to adapt and overcome. And so we take that pretty seriously, and we did, in my opinion, a great job. I had to hand rip all the trim, all the stop, the windows, everything out of 2x8s. So all we really had was a skill saw and some 2x8s, hand rip at 1/2 inch, set it up, you know, nail them up there. Everything was hand nailed. We didn't use any power tools other than our saws, and you know, it's just really cool experience, because you get so used to always having that nail gun. You get so used to having table saws and you know, demo saws and everything else, that when you finally don't have that in front of you and you have to go back and just like do everything by hand, you really kind of get a new respect for construction in itself and the trade in itself. You gain a whole new respect, and you remember why you started. I started with my grandpa, hammers and nails. I mean, there was no power tools whatsoever, you know, and it just took me back to that. Like, this is why I started. This is why I love construction. This is why craftsmanship means so much to me. Yeah, it was a great project. It was a great trip. I owe a great deal to the Nebraska National Guard and the joint multinational training facility that we were at in Bavaria. So it was a great experience. I'm happy to be home. I'm happy to be back here helping out Carlson Projects, and it's really just got me fired up to keep moving through 2017 and just absolutely kill it in 2018 and build some really cool stuff. So